Hi, welcome back to the Mother You Know, the Woman You Don't podcast about mothers and daughters and the relationships. I want to start out this week by saying thank you to everyone who has liked, followed, and listened to the podcast. We've received so many encouraging notes, a lot of good feedback, and we are grateful for all the support that people have shown. It's really been a great couple of weeks since we first aired the first couple ones, and then the last couple of weeks have had some great guests. We are constantly working to improve. I think technically we're working to improve and we're already doing better. So we're happy about that. And finally, we'd love to talk to you guys. If you have a story to tell, please reach out to us. We'd love to share your story, whether it's a positive story or if you've had a difficult relationship and want to discuss how you overcame that and change those things in your life and change those things for your children. We'd love to talk to you. So just be sure and reach out to us. So on this week episode, we have a very special guest. It's really called The Little Meme That Almost Took Us Down. The little engine that could. It could and almost did take us out. We had this a couple of weeks ago. So right before we released, we had an incident that kind of sparked something that I don't know that we were prepared for. Not infighting, but we all had kind of a disagreement about an issue.
It's a fight. You could say it was a fight.
Hey,
it wasn't like a wrestling fight. It was just something that came up, and we were, I think, all kind of taken aback about the way that we handled it, all taken aback by the way we all responded. I don't think we were prepared for it. So, and it all centered around something that, I don't know, I guess a couple of weeks later, it feels small. It feels insignificant, but it had, dumb.
I'm going to describe it when I promote this episode as the dumbest fight ever. That's how I'm going to describe it.
Possibly. But I mean, listen, we could get dumber. Who knows?
Good chance. Yes.
But yeah, it was just something that came up. We were not ready for it. We were not prepared for it. And I don't think any of us reacted well to it. And it was all right before the first episode aired. So it was just, I think it was unnerving a little bit. And it really kind of gave us some perspective on the things that we're trying to talk about, which is like understanding your mother and having grace and being kind to each other and all that, which we talk about it, but daggum, the first incident we had to live it was hard.
Yeah, that was Jesus going, let's practice what we preach, shall we?
Yeah, here we go.
Here you go.
Now, I will say that afterwards, and we're going to talk about, where it stemmed from and how we kind of all reacted. Each one of us is going to talk about our point of view of it. But just to give you an idea of what happened is right before we were going to launch, we are working on promoting. So social media, the marketing stuff is, it's not new to Lydia because it's what she does for a living. It is new to me and Mom. So it's something that we're trying to grasp of. I do it socially, so I understand social media socially. I don't think, Mom, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really have a grasp of it at all.
No, not at all.
And Lydia knows it as the business part. She understands algorithms and scheduling, and that we have to do it like 500 times a day, and has really technically sound idea of what we should be doing marketing wise. And like I said, Mom and I are just kind of a novice. I'm social and Mom and not at all. But so we posted a meme, and I think what Mom, and you're going to have to tell us what you saw, but I think what you saw of the meme is that it was just inappropriate for what we were trying to do and who we were and who we were going to represent. I did not see it that way, and neither did Lydia. So we obviously have some generational things. So
it Mom, is generational, baby. It is.
It's some generational things,
and maybe ignorance on my part, I suppose, because I totally did not understand.
Well, let's
what all was
stage
going
about
into it.
What it was first. So it was a TikTok video that would also be a reel on Facebook and Instagram of the two dudes who dance around at the warehouse, dramatically dancing. It's so funny, to the Celine Dion song. Which one was it? Arms Open Wide.
All night.
Yeah, something like that one.
To you. Okay.
And that was posted, and it said something to the effect of us pumping ourselves up to launch our podcast. That was what it was like 2 days before, because it was Tuesday and we launched on Thursday. That's when it went out. So I post that to social media. I posted to TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, and then I go about my day. So, Mom.
And then I think this was Wednesday, right? So
No,
the
this
next
was Tuesday
day,
because I was
it was
at
all
I was at
Tuesday?
the work.
Okay.
Yeah, I was at the work
Okay.
conference on
Okay.
Tuesday.
So
Yeah,
later that day, Mom.
I sat in my car before I went into this conference, posted it, put my phone away, and then
Went
didn't
to
think
work.
about it again. Yeah, went to work.
And that was probably about the time I was getting on opening it up on TikTok, I guess. Or maybe it was Instagram, and I was looking at I had already looked at some of our posts and our episodes and all that, and I was so proud of everything that y'all had done, and I was so excited about it. And then it was this meme, and I opened it up, and you know, it's a generational thing. It is. I was raised conservative, Baptist, no less, and we don't dance, uh, and so I was taken back just because I thought, oh, that don't look right, and I didn't look at it long enough to really see what was going on. I didn't know that's what a meme was. I didn't know that you did that to draw attention to your podcast and all that. So I thought, why is that on there? That is not us. That's not saying anything about who we are. So I think I
Did
called.
you not even read what it said? You just looked at the dudes dancing and that was it?
Yes, actually, yeah, truly. I didn't read it. I'm sorry.
We could have saved ourselves a whole bunch of trouble if you just read what it said.
Well, or give me a heads up, okay, next time. So then I'm looking at it and thinking, oh my goodness. And so I call you, and I think I said I left you a message, I believe,
Lydia,
and I said, I called Lydia, and I left you a message, and I think I said everything was looking great and all, but I do have an objection. I think that was my word, just an objection. I got an objection. And so when you call back, no, I might have left. I thought that was vulgar, and it doesn't say who we are, the meme. And so
hold on, before you talk to me though, like it was hours before I was able to call back. One, because I don't check my voicemail, and so you talked to Dorcas before you talked to me. So
yes, and you called me back later,
like it was in the afternoon. It was after lunch, I think, is when I called you back. But
yeah,
so
I truly did not. I never imagined that it would spark such a reaction, and I don't know why not, because I reacted very passionately about it. And I guess I don't know why I didn't expect you to react passionately, because I was passionate about it, and Dorcas too. And then when we called Dorcas, I was called Dorcas, and Daddy was in the car too, but he was talking about it too, rather loudly, and we were trying to talk about it. So it turned out that it was very passionate either way, all the way around.
Well, what was what was your objection to it?
My objection to it was what I perceived to be crotch grabbing and hip thrusting. Okay. At the end of that, yes, the hip thrusting is what I saw. Okay. And I thought it was inappropriate.
Why don't you explain? Why did you think the hip thrusting was inappropriate? What did it make you think of, Mom?
I'm not going to go into that. You know that. Everybody watching this exactly knows. We're not dumb here.
I don't know.
So
we need more explanation from the preacher's wife.
Probably not. Probably not. I was just objecting. And I was coming from a place, I think, and we talked about internal struggles. What was the internal struggle about that whole thing was I have struggled with worrying about what people think, being conservative, and worried about what people think just thinking about my own peers, okay, the people that who are my age, the women that we've talked to, and all in our circle of friends that are truly in our church circle and all that. And I got to thinking about it, and I think it was almost the same reaction, Dorcas, as when you talked to me, when you let me know, when you told me that you were pregnant and you were going to have a baby. And it's that same fear of what is people going to say or see or think. Are they going to perceive us? How are they going to perceive us?
Yeah.
And so that was the knee-jerk reaction. And I realized it was the same reaction. Now, I got to thinking, well, I wish Mother was here.
She could tell you to get over it.
She
thought that was funny.
She'd be like, it's just a meme, baby. It's just a meme.
No, she wouldn't have known about a meme, but she would have not reacted as I did. My biggest mistake was to call y'all in the middle of your work day and lose my stuff.
Both Lydia and I work outside this home.
Yes, you do.
Outside the world. Lydia was at a conference, and I was in my office, and I was in the middle of my work day. I think it was like 10 o'clock or something. That
was thoughtless on my part. And but I was really passionate. I was objection. It was just the objection. And so how do I back up off the ledge? Because I'm on a ledge right now. And truly, the reaction was pretty strong and passionate and all, because I'm worried about what a few people are going to say or see it. I wasn't thinking about anybody else.
A lot of your church old ladies are on TikTok, are they?
No.
I'm just asking.
No.
I'm just asking.
we were trying to get to where we're sharing it and passing it on, and because that's the whole point, is to have people join in and get on your podcast and listen to drive people to the podcast. And I'm thinking, look at these guys. I can't send that out there. But when I look back, and you kept saying, look at it, Mother, look at it. And so as I did, I thought, oh no, that is funny. That's funny, except the last 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah.
And it wasn't crotch grabbing. He was really grabbing his belt, but immediately.
It was that hip thrusting.
With the hip thrusting. Yes,
what did we talk about the other day, Mom? It was like Elvis corrupting the kids in the 50s with his gyrating.
Yes. But I didn't want to be that person. Okay. Yeah. Because at that point in history, I loved Elvis. Yeah. And I wasn't going to let him take me to hell, So the whole thing was that Elvis was taking everybody to hell. And I'm thinking, no. So it is, I think it was a generational thing. It was also inner struggles with fearing what people say or think or see. Or are they going to perceive us and look at, drive them away from what we're trying to say, because we really do have a platform to touch women. Yeah. And I want to give women their voice. So after I talked with you, Dorcas, and
how did that conversation go?
Well, it was the next day because
it was the same day about it.
No, when we talked calmly about it was the next day. I was on my way to work the next day.
What was the initial conversation like? Because
I was at work, so Mom called and I answered my phone, and what I heard was, I have a problem. I have a problem with the meme. The guy is grabbing his crotch, and
it's vulgar. Now, I think I used vulgar a few times.
She did use the word, which to me is a strong word, because when I relate vulgar, I relate that to porn. To me, full on porn is vulgar. Okay. So I'm a little more, I'm younger. I've got a different perspective, whatever. So when you're saying vulgar, my brain is going, it starts racing, because that's just my brain goes, because I do worry about things, and I do worry about details, and I do worry about, and Lydia sent me that meme the night before. because she's sending me everything she's posting, and I'm going, oh, that's funny. Yeah, put it up. That's adorable. Good job. That's funny. You know, so she sent it the night before. I thought it was hilarious. It was great. So put it up. So when you said vulgar, my brain is going, because we're in the week of doing this. This is already a huge step, I think, for all of us. So it's already on edge that we're 2 days before we're actually going to put something out in the world that people are going to hear, which is so far out of my comfort zone. I can't even stand it. Like, it's so far out. So we're already on edge, knowing that in 2 days we're going to put things out and people are going to hear it. So you said vulgar, and my brain thought, what did I miss? What detail did I miss that it's so vulgar? Now, we've already had to talk about you and Dad talking on me to speakerphone at the same time, because it's too much. Like,
I'm
I
so
can't.
sorry about that. I'm so sorry about that.
I can't take chaos anymore. My body can't take it. My brain can't take it. My soul can't take it. It can't take all that, the beehive. So both of y'all were saying something about his crotch, something about something. And then one of you said, it's like the F word, the F word. And I was going, the F word? Since when did Celine Dion start singing the F word in her songs? I panicked. Like, I kept paniking because I'm thinking I didn't hear the music. I didn't listen to the music. I didn't see that the guy grabbed his crotch. I completely went into a panic mode, because that's not what I want to put out. That was not the goal, to put that out there. So I immediately went into panic mode. And then, as y'all are both talking, I'm sitting here thinking, I didn't see any of that. And there's no way I missed it. So I think I just said, okay, Mom, let me take a look at it, and I'll call you back in a few minutes. Let me go look at it. So in the time that we either were talking or got off the phone, I watched it 10 times. I mean, like, watched it. And I'm thinking, I see nothing. And I'm listening to it with my headphones in, thinking, Celine Dion does not cuss in this song. I know she doesn't curse. I know there's no F words. I know there's not. So I didn't hear it. So I think I immediately called Dwayne, because my husband is, just for you that don't know, he's 8 years older than I am. He grew up in a much different time than I did, in a much different area. He is probably, he's more conservative than I am, because there's a lot of stuff that I think is funny or humorous, or because I have like the humor of a 12-year-old boy that he just does not think is funny at all. So I immediately called him and said, hey, go on Facebook, find this meme that Lydia posted. Would you watch that, please? I said, because Mom's upset about it. She's saying it's vulgar, and that it's something about the F word, like the F word's in it, and I don't hear it or see it, or he's grabbing his crotch. I said, I don't see it. I see none of it. Will you please look at that? Tell me what you think and call me back. So he got off the phone, looked at it, calls me back. He goes, babe, I think it's fine. He goes, I didn't see any of that. I guess I'm not sure what they're seeing, but I don't see that. Okay, fine. So I called Lydia, and I think I just told you. I think you immediately answered when I called. I just happened to catch you.
I was at lunch, so I was not in the booth. I was eating my food truck food. Yes.
Okay. Well, I caught Lydia on the phone, and I said, hey, I think Mom called you and left a message. This is what she's feeling. This is what she's seeing. I don't see it. Dwayne doesn't see it. So I feel like this is a non-issue. So I think we talked about it for a few minutes and talked about what you were seeing, and then I think we even said, well, this brought up a good point, that we have not talked about how to resolve conflict and how we're going to handle disagreements. So we need to make a note of that.
And to be honest, the conversation went, no, this is a democracy. We're going to vote. Me and you think it's fine, and we're not taking it down.
Well, yeah, it was like, well, we're just going to vote on it, because that's the only way to do it. There's 3 people.
We have a quorum. Most of us are here. 2 against 1. Yeah. We're not taking it down.
Yeah, I just said we're not messing.
I just had an objection. I had an objection.
No, but when you were talking to me, I could tell that you were. It sounded like you were angry, is what it sounded like, and it felt like when I got off the phone, it felt like I had been scolded by you and Dad for doing something wrong. That was what I felt. My brain knew I didn't do that.
I'm sorry.
No, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad, because it's done.
That's why
and
we're
it's
talking
over.
about it. Yeah,
that's why we're
dealt
talking
with it.
about
Yeah.
it.
For the record, we have dealt with this. We're good. We're past it. It's just now we can giggle into it. Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, a lot of good I think is coming from it and will come from it. So yeah, Lydia and I talked about it for a few minutes. I think we both have a tendency we can probably get in there as siblings do and start beep, 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 you know. And then it was like, well, we're not doing this. We're not voting. I don't have time to spend on this. We're not taking it down. It's fine. And we're about our way. And I told you, go back to work. Don't worry about calling mom back. We're fine. But it bothered me the rest
Yeah.
of the day. It internally bothered me. And I think what bothered me the most was that that I didn't see what y'all were seeing. Like I said, the call, you know, the just the call at work, which we hadn't established those rules yet. So that's a
Yeah.
new rule, is we're going to handle these things after hours, or send a text or something so we can deal with it if there's an emergency. It was the, you know, the scolding of it, and then, you know, like I said, the fact that it took so much for me to agree to do this or to step out and do it anyway, and then to decide, okay, we're going to do this. This is actually really good, because, you know, by this time we've recorded a ton. We've only put out 3 or 4, but
No,
it
this
feels
time
like
we
the
hadn't put out
content is
anything.
well, that is true.
This
We were
was
fixing
a
to put out 4. You're right.
48 hours from
So
launching this thing.
yeah, so I had been feeling good because we've heard what we've recorded, and I feel like the content is good. The conversations have been amazing. Every week we do this, it feels better and better and better. You're right, we haven't put anything out yet. So I think it immediately put the doubt that I was not trusting my gut to think that this was good, that we were doing a good job, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. It was all of that. And so that just festered because I didn't truly let it go. Like I told Lydia, we're just going to let this go on about our day. Move on. I did not let it
Didn't
go.
happen.
I did not let it go so much. And Mom, you don't know this, but on my way home, I was on the phone. I called Melissa because Melissa is a good sounding board for me, because when I told her we were going to do this, she's been one of the few people that was like, without question, said, oh God, you should do this. That'll be great. You know, just she's never doubted, never been a naysayer, never been anything. So I called her to say, Mom and Dad saw this, so we've been dealing with this all day, blah, blah, blah. I was so worked up about it. I forgot that I was supposed to get gas in my car, and I ran out of gas on the way home. I got on the phone with her downtown Houston, probably towards Memorial or Galleria, and I was talking. I got on 90 to go home, and my car, I was driving 70, 80 miles an hour. My car goes, and I go, just pull over. Now, let me just say, thank God I was on the phone with her, because had I not been, I'd have probably cried. But then again, had I not been on the phone with her, I would have remembered to get gas. But I laughed hysterically for probably 10 minutes. She and I laughed just hysterically because I had to call Dwayne and tell him I ran out of gas because I was griping about today. So, which then turned into a thing, because it turns out where I was at, he had to pass me by like 5 miles and turn around and come back. He had to go away to Channelview to come back to Crosby, because you can't cross the river. It was just a day. So it threw me into a tizzy. But on on a side note, it ended well. Okay, just know I laughed hysterically at the end of the day and felt like this is so dumb that I carried this all day. But, so I think, Lydia, for you, it felt, I think, different than it felt for me, but it felt frustrating because this is what I think you looked at it from the perspective of, this is what you do for a living.
Yeah.
Like,
there was a lot of things. So like when you called me, I was eating, and I guess this is such a chubby internal girl thing to do, but I'm eating my yummy Korean food truck food, and it was so delicious, and I was so excited about this food truck food. And then you call me and you tell me we got this problem or whatever, and we talk about it for a few minutes, and I watch it, like sitting there trying to eat my lunch. And we have that conversation, like, there's nothing wrong with this. Like, I don't understand. Like, what are they seeing? What am I not seeing? That same kind of thing. Like, what, like, again, I'm questioning Celine Dion, which I don't ever want to question Celine Dion. And I'm like, when did she like slip in an Easter egg of the F-bomb, whatever. And so we figure out whatever. And I get ready to go back and you're like, don't even worry about it. And you told me, you're like, don't call mom, just go on about it. And
Yeah, we're just going to let it go.
we're going to let it
gonna
go. And I was like, we're not taking it down. We're going to let it go.
And I think because it was a TikTok, I was thinking this is not something that's this is not going to touch that many people. It's not going to be.
Yeah, we're not viral.
It's such a minute problem to be having, is what I quantified it as minute, which it didn't feel minute to you, Mom. I get that. But I think in the grand scheme of we're working, we're already doing this, it's already up. I don't want to figure out how to take it down. Like, we're done. It's so minute, we're not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
So I think that's how you and I ended.
So we get off the phone and you told me, like, don't call mom, just let it go. But I did end up calling mom. And you told me later, you were like, you just wanted to fight. I'm like, and then I told you this the other day. I was like, I don't think I did, because what I was feeling in that moment was I was in disbelief. One, that mom would be upset and that mom would make a big deal out of this because, and mom, I told you this yesterday when we talked about it, is that you don't ever do this. You're not a meddling mother.
Right.
You're not a helicopter mom. You're not in my business. You don't tell me how to live my life. You don't interfere in our marriages, in the way we raise our children. You're not that woman. You are the best mom ever. Like, my friends are jealous of the relationship I have with my mother because our mother is normal because her mother was normal. We're not perfect. Yes.
Yeah, usually.
So that's the point, is that you never.
I'm usually pretty good at this.
And so when I called her, when I decided to call her, I was walking back. And for those, if you're in the Houston area, I was at OTC. If you've ever been to OTC, OTC is a big old oil and gas thing. And I'm working. This place is huge. And I'm walking back to the booth and I'm like, I'm going to call mom just real quick. This is one of our biggest events of the year. And I've got to concentrate and be here and whatever. And I call mom and you immediately answer the phone and you're not mad. Like, you're not mad or ugly or anything like that. You just said what you said. And I was in such disbelief that you're like, it's inappropriate. And he's grabbing his crotch. And I'm like, Mom, he's not grabbing his crotch. Like, he's grabbing his crotch and he's, and all this. And I just kept going. And part of me was kind of laughing and giggling, like, internally. But I was like, Mom, he's not grabbing his crotch. And I'm like, Mom, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. And you just kept saying it's inappropriate. It's vulgar. It's inappropriate. You need to take it down. And I was like, Mom, I don't think we need to take it down or whatever. And then kind of the thing that made me have my reaction was you said, I know you and your sister will do the right thing, which tells me, take it down. That's what you're going to do. And it was the guiltiest thing. And for me, my reaction, which I own that this is how I handle things. I don't want the fight. Because I think I even told Dorcas at one point, like, just take it down. Like, I don't want the fight. I'm not doing this. And I try not to be disrespectful to you either. But my response was, I've got to go. Click. I was
yes,
like,
that was it.
I got to go. Click. I'm not doing this.
Oh, I think she's mad.
And I go back to the booth.
She might be a little upset.
I was pissed. And so I go back to the booth and I spend the next 5 hours just in this place of, maybe it was Wednesday, not Tuesday. It was Wednesday. Yeah, it was Wednesday. So it was the day before. Like, we were launching at midnight, our stuff. And I go back to, and again, this is my whole day consumed with this. I'm trying to concentrate and be present in my job and do my job and all this stuff. But all I can think about is this. And I kept sitting there. And when I had a minute, I was looking at it. It just kept going, what am I missing? What am I missing?
Let me just say, we probably gave ourselves 10,000 views.
Yeah, we didn't. And what's the funniest thing is this video got like 100 views on TikTok. That's it. Yeah. Like, nobody saw this.
Because 50 of them was me looking at it back.
Yeah.
Kept on looking at it. Like, say, well.
We're not going viral
I kept
on TikTok,
looking at it.
Yeah. I think our 56, maybe 62 followers on TikTok, got to see this thing. And so I think for me, the biggest thing was, one, the being told what to do. Just take it. It was the guilt that you and your sister will do the right thing. And because you've always told me too, that I do have a rebellious spirit, the minute you tell me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite. And you're like, take it down. I'm like, no, it's not coming down. I'm going to put money behind it. We're going to boost it. At this point, we're going to make people see it. And I immediately, but then I shut down and I'm like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I don't think I talked to Dorcas. Well, I did talk to Dorcas later on that afternoon when you texted me to say, I ran out of gas. I'm on the side of the road. And even though I knew Dwayne was going to come to the rescue, I told her, I was like, I'm in the car. I'm coming. I'm coming. Like, because I was pissed off, because I knew why she ran out of gas. So like, I'm coming. I'm on my way. She's like, Dwayne's on his way. I was like, are you sure? Because I'll be there. I'm coming.
So
And
why am I just now hearing about the gas thing?
because it was
Why am I
funny.
I
just
don't know,
now
'cause
hearing about the gas thing? We're
when
going
we
to talk
talked
about
the
this
next
one.
morning. You and I talked
Yeah.
the next morning.
But you didn't tell me you ran out of gas.
No, I didn't. I didn't think about
No.
it because we were talking
Yeah.
about why we decided, or we were talking about the end. Yes, the day before. That's all. We were
Yes,
just talking
yes.
anymore, and I just
We'll
didn't think
get
about
to
it. And
it.
then at this point, like a couple of days later, when Lydia and I are talking, I go, "Yeah, I'm not telling her till we record this."
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
So anyway, I spent the whole rest of the day just dwelling on this. And it was very internal because I spent time in therapy, you start working through your emotions, working through everything that's going on in my head. Some of the things that really bothered me, again, being told what to do like I was a child. And it took me, like I said, it was in my head for hours. It took me at least 3 to 4 hours before I had the realization I am 45 years old. I'm 45 years old. And with all due respect, Mama don't get to tell me what to do. I pay my bills. I live my life. I'm a grown ass woman. And it took a long time to get there because I felt very much like a little kid, like Dorcas said, getting scolded by my mom.
Yeah.
And being told what to do. And it took a long time to get there. But once I was there, my instinct, again, because I don't want the fight, is to shut down. So I don't think I didn't talk to you that day. I just kind of did my thing. And when I start processing it, it does go into this place of getting criticized for something that I'm working so hard to do. Because up into this point, and I don't say this pointedly by any means, but like up until this point, I had been doing a lot of the technical behind the scenes stuff.
Yes.
Editing the episodes. I built the website. I set up all the social media stuff. I'm putting together blogs. I am putting together the social media strategy and the overall marketing strategy. I'm creating the content. I'm doing all this stuff. And then
because it's your profession and
Yes.
you know what it takes to do.
Oh, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying
no.
Yeah.
I am saying the details of it are so great because you actually know what you're doing with that. It's not like the rest of us that we're winging. You know
Yeah.
what you're doing, and it is a lot of detail.
it is a lot of
and
detail.
a lot of work. Yeah, outside of normal work,
Yeah.
normal life, normal
Yeah,
whatever.
and
So it's a
I feel
a whole
like that
nother
was
job.
part of it too, is that, I go to my job all day long and I do marketing all day long. And then I get off work and I do the marketing for this for free. And it's time away from my family and time away from my husband and time away from watching Bridgerton and reading true crime books and it's the time away from that. And then so to be criticized for it was really, I took it very personally because again, I told Dorcas in that first phone call, whenever, again, my emotions get the best of me, my instinct, whenever it's like mom's upset about this, like, well, then she can do it. Then she can do the social media, tell her to figure it out. And that's exactly, Dorcas like, shut up, you're going to do it. I was like, no, mom can figure it out. If it's so easy, mom can do it. Because
I tell you, Lydia, I don't have time for this. Shut up. You're doing the marketing.
No, I don't want to do it. And
I don't even know what to do.
Yeah.
I
I was like, what's a meme? Like, what is a meme?
What's a meme? What do you mean? What do you mean?
And so I immediately go to this very defensive place because, again, in the professional world, when something doesn't go right with your product, who is the first person to get blamed? It is going to be marketing. It's just how it is. Maybe your product sucks. Maybe there's all kind of factors, but marketing. And so it felt very much like with working when you get blamed whenever something doesn't go well. It's marketing's fault. And I did take it very personally. And it was very disheartening to feel like all the hard work was being criticized, with all due respect, from somebody who didn't know what they were talking about. And so that was really hard. And just feeling like all the hard work wasn't appreciated and that it just, it didn't matter, and just being told what to do because some of the stuff you can't do by committee. You just got to do it. And it was just not fun for me because I understand why this is my part of the job 100%. And this is something I've told y'all too, is that, I don't necessarily want to do marketing 24 hours a day, but I'm doing it because it has to get done. And, hopefully it's all going to pay off in the long run for us to get the word out about this podcast and get people invested into it like we are. And it was just really, really hard to be criticized for it when you're working so hard. And, Dorcas, what I did learn out of this from it was, when Dorcas made the comment about turning to Dwayne, and I've apologized to my husband since then about it, but my instinct was not to turn to Jared as my mirror, as my sounding board. Because I said, we've only been married for 2 years and I'm 45. So I've been on my own for a very long time. I told him what was happening, but it took me a little bit. And so I did take a cue from my sister and go, okay, babe, this is what happened. What do you think? And what's funny is that he's not more conservative than I am, like Dwayne is for you. He's a lot more not even liberal, but whatever you want to call it, than I am. And he came back with the same thing. He was like, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. He goes, he's not grabbing his crotch. I was like, thank you. He's not grabbing his freaking crotch. And so, that was something I learned. That's a learning point for me in this whole thing. And then, it consumed my day. It became what all of my emotions that day were about. It consumed how I felt about myself, about how I felt about this. It made me question going forward. I had those moments of, I'm not doing this. This is not what my day is going to be like. My life is not going to be like this every week whenever we have something. I'm not going to do this. But that's just how I handle things. And I shut down and I go all nope. We talked about the other day, shutting your emotions off like the Vampire Diaries and shutting off your humanity and just going cold. And that's exactly what I wanted to do. And I think the rest of it, I just came home and I was so emotionally drained. And I think I just kind of took a shower and got in bed. And the joy of that first day, I said we were launching at midnight that day. And there was just the excitement that I don't know, leading up to it was just kind of maybe wilted a little bit. I don't think any of us talked that night. I don't think we had any text messages going around. We were really quiet that night, when we should have been.
The next morning, Mom, you called me early. I think either you called me or I called you. I can't remember because I was in traffic. So I have that, fantastic commute in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we talked probably almost the whole way.
Yes.
The whole way in, which was good because I think it immediately gave me, I thought about it all night, and the things that come from it are, how we're going to handle conflict. And I think part of it was us, you and me, talking through what it was and what it represented and how hard it was for Lydia. Because I think your understanding of what it was in your brain is that this is going to go out there and the entire world is going to see this. Everybody's going to see it and they're going to judge us off of this thing because your understanding of how it happens on social media is just not, you shouldn't understand it. You should understand what it was.
I don't have any of that. I didn't have any of that information then.
Yeah.
Now, do I now? Yeah. Now I understand. Now I see. Now I get it. And before we got through talking, I did say to you, okay, Dorcas.
Yeah.
I'm backing up off the ledge.
Yeah.
I'm not jumping now. And so this speaks to my total social media knowing nothing, being such a novice at it and not even speaking the language, not even seeing what goes into it.
Yeah.
And so,
and I can understand how, and I think I told you this that day, I can understand how you and Dad, when you think about sharing something, putting it out there, you're putting it out there for people who are your friends or your circle to see.
Our peers.
That's who, in your brain, you're marketing to your peers because we do want everybody. I'll take everybody, all ages, all ethnicities, all races, all religions. I would love for them to listen to this and come in. So I want varying. We want that. But I think the answer to that was don't share that meme. If you don't get it or you don't like it, don't share it. For your group, our dad is a pastor, so it does not make sense for him to, along with his Bible study and the things that he promotes already on social media, the two gays and guys in the warehouse doesn't make sense.
Well, and also too, Daddy sometimes shares things from the church Facebook page instead of his personal.
Yes. That's
so
true.
Hey, don't share it on the church. No, the church doesn't. The church doesn't need to be sharing. No. Go to yours. Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. If there's something, I think we talked about it, it's just don't share it. It's okay if you're not sharing that particular thing. If there's something you don't understand or don't get, don't share it. You and I talked a little bit about social media, how it works. We were talking about how Lydia picks these things, and that she's not just randomly picking things. There's trends, and there's things that are happening that are popular that she's going to pick these because they're going to drive people. More people are going to see them. Just how the marketing part of it works.
Yes, and that's all the things that I'm learning to understand.
Yeah,
and get that, and which really makes it easy for me to back off the ledge. But I think what I'm trying to figure out also is what is my role in this also. What is it? Because I certainly can't do the technology. I can't do what Lydia does. And I had no idea how much effort and the details that goes into that it takes. And I have a whole nother appreciation for you two. Amazingly, you're amazing to me.
It's more Lydia than me.
So, yeah. So
I apologize to her.
Because I want to come along beside you. I don't want y'all have to drag me along, getting to know what's happening, what's going on. So, learning to what my role is too.
And I think, Mom, too, one of the things I told you that I think is important, just from my own psyche or whatever, is that one of the things I think that I was so hurt about is that you thought that I would purposely put something out there vulgar.
Yeah.
And I know we have since talked about it, and I know you never would, but that was my first thought, that Mom thinks so little of me and my integrity and all these things that I would put something. I know that now, but that's the thought, is that Mom thinks that I would do something, one, purposefully to embarrass her, or that was purposely vulgar or anything like that. So that was, again, that was one of those hurtful things that you're like, she has no faith in me. And I don't ever want to disappoint you. Like I said, while I am 45 and you can't tell me what to do, I'm still your daughter, and I still want you to be proud of me, and I still don't want to disappoint you because you still scare me, because I don't want you to throw a chicken leg at me, that kind of thing.
Well, let me just say, when Dorcas and I got through talking the next day, I told you, I thought, she just hit me with a chicken leg. I'm telling you, threw a piece of chicken leg at me.
I feel like you're downplaying your frankness in this whole thing, like, because it was very much like, no, we're not taking it down. She can get over it. We're not.
I was so irritated when she and I talked.
She said she wasn't.
I did.
She said that.
I told Mom the next day. I said, I told her.
We're not taking it down.
We just said we're not taking it down.
Okay, I understand that.
This is why. We're not taking it down. This is why we're not doing it. Now, we didn't get into the how you made me feel and blah, 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 blah. But one of the things it did do is make me think all that night and the next day about why we're doing this. Why are we even doing this? What are we, what is the purpose? What is, I just am, I think, like I said, one of the things for me was trusting my gut, and that I've wanted to do this for so long. Over a year, I've had this idea and I wanted to do it. And, it took Lydia pushing and having the, being so lucky that she has all this knowledge to push me to that. I have a passion plea about why we want to do this. And I don't want to live in fear anymore, because I live in fear about everything. I have grown up worried about what people think. I've grown up not thinking I'm enough. I've grown up, and there's just something about, maybe it's the good old age of almost 50. You're just getting to where you do not care. And I think that's what I told you, is I don't care what people think. I don't want to care if this meme is going to offend somebody. We've set guidelines that there's certain things we're not going to do. Like, there's certain curse words that we're not going to allow for our own, standards. There's certain things we're not going to do. We're not going to pick actual vulgar memes. And there's tons of stuff that Lydia has said that is trending.
Ones?
Yes, that actual vulgar. There are tons of ones that are trending.
There's tons
that
of like
cursing and,
some of the best like sounds on TikTok all have cuss words in them. They're the best. They're so good. You're like, mine can't see that. I can't see that from my mom.
But
So
we also said that we're
yeah.
going to trust God to bless what we do
Yeah.
within a certain thing. So, we made those things, but I just don't, it's just something that I'm going to be passionate about, is that I'm not going to edit who I am as a person, and what I think is funny and what I think is, important, and why we're even doing this. I just can't worry about if somebody's going to be offended by a little hip thrust.
If you're offended by a
and
meme,
I don't mean you. I don't mean, I understand, because like I said, I understand where you're coming from, and I can see from your perspective and Dad's perspective that you're not going to send that out to your people. I get it, but outside of your circle, there's a whole circle of people that, if it draws that many people in, or those people in, without being actually vulgar, then I want to do that. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to be shy away from, or think we're doing something wrong, or feel guilty about how we pull people in.
Yeah, because I feel like I agree with you. You're saying, like, you got to trust your gut, because there's so much, especially when it comes to like getting the word out about like a podcast, but especially a new podcast, something like this. And I've never marketed a podcast before. I market oil and gas stuff, whatever, but it all has the same foundational stuff, and it moves so quickly. You have to trust your gut. And I don't want to be put in a position where I'm questioning that, or I'm questioning if I'm making the right decisions or things like that. Because sometimes you just have to try. It's called A/B testing, Mom. You have to try different things and see what sticks sometimes.
Yeah.
And
So
that's,
you'll be happy to know the hip thrusting thing didn't stick.
nobody saw the video anyways.
Good.
There's like 100 views on it, 100 on TikTok. We are not going viral from that. Like, we got 60 followers. It's fine. And I don't think, and like on Facebook, it got like 24 views. It was not so. I think that when I looked at the numbers the next day, I was like, oh, nobody saw it anyways. It's fine. So all of this for nothing. Except
Well, I
trying
think
to teach us a lesson.
No, I think all of this was for a reason.
Yeah.
To understand and get
a
busy
lesson on
talking about it. Okay.
Well,
there's a lesson to be learned, but on
how
the
to
same,
deal with Christian, what is it, Dorcas? What you talking about? Is how to deal with Christian panic.
Oh, Christian panic. Yeah, that's what I
Christian
kept saying.
panic.
It's actually what I kept calling it whenever I called
Yeah.
Lydia. I was like, I don't know, she's in some sort of Christian panic. I don't know what's happening. So that's what I've been calling it all week.
Or I heard someone call it religious neurosis.
Yes. Okay.
So
Maybe
that's
that,
another word, and that's true, and that's me.
Yeah.
I don't want to be.
Well,
I don't
you know
want
what
to
I
walk
thought
in.
about this weekend?
I don't want to walk in fear either, baby.
Yeah.
You have a right to
that's
think what you think about it. I think that's the thing. You have a right to think.
I can only be who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I am is, I learned, I'm smart.
Yeah.
And so I'm listening. I'm backing off the ledge.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I don't want to walk in fear.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I have a thing of wanting to be perfect too. I want to back away off of that. We don't need it to be perfect. But I'm a little passive aggressive myself. Lydia is passive aggressive.
100% the queen of the land
Yes,
of
you
passive aggressiva.
And
absolutely.
There is some passive aggressiveness in me. And so at that point I have an objection. I'm going to object.
And I know you'll do the right thing, sweetie.
Yeah.
That's right, baby.
Oh, hell no, I'm not gonna.
Yes, I raised you to do the right thing. Do the right thing. So yeah, I want to know that I can speak my objections, but I will not do it while y'all are at work again. Okay, I will not call y'all while you're at work.
Yeah.
I may send you a strongly worded email, but I won't be.
That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So,
no, and I think that's it, is that we do want to all have a voice. And I think this did make us think, I think, we talked about this. It makes us think about, we have to think about this as a business, as being partners, as opposed to parent-child,
Yes.
because I think that's the relationship
She's
that's
like,
not
she doesn't
working.
get to be the parent today. I told her and Dad, they're not the parents of that. You don't get to parent me on
Oh,
this.
how did I know that? I already knew that.
Well,
I thought,
it's just it, is that you could be that we are
that,
going to be partners in this,
yeah,
but we're not going to be parent-child in this,
yes,
Now there will be some things that yes, because the whole podcast is about being parent-child, but as the business side of it, the back side of it is we're trying to build a business, and we've got to be partners in that, which means you have to trust each other, we have to respect each other, we have to, schedule calls, we have to have an agenda, we have to do all these things to treat it as a business, because I
yes.
think we have something really good here. So that came from it. I think it made me think more about, what are you laughing at?
Because when you said that, I was like, and there's 65 people on TikTok who like what we do too. So
Yeah.
that was
We're
my
on our
thought.
way. We're on our way.
We are on our way.
But it really made me think about why, the why I wanted, why this even came up, why this even was in my head for so long. And I think for me, the reason to do this was, it was twofold. I kept hearing people, listening to other podcasts and listening to people talk about the relationship with their mother and how hurtful and how toxic it was and how hurt people were. And you keep hearing stories of generational curses, and people either not healing and just drowning in the same crap, or you're hearing stories of redemption where people were like, hey, I dealt with this and this is how I stopped it and moved on. And I
Absolutely,
genuinely
baby.
am in love
Yeah.
with that story. And then the other part is that I kept listening to podcasts and hearing people talk about how they're mad at God, that God allowed this, God did this, God did, just God, and I kept thinking, that's not who God is. That's not who God is. That's who maybe the church is, or who somebody who hurts you, or that's who people are, man is, but it's not who God is. So I think that's the other facet of why I even wanted to do this podcast, was just to kind of integrate those two things, because those two things are central in all of our lives, and certainly around, our circle, inner circle, outer circle, is all just these really great stories of women, and God plays a huge part in that for us. So I think I am going to try, or I decided after we talked, that is going to be my focus, that is where I'm going to land, and we're going to do things to accomplish those two goals and to accomplish those two storylines. And if that means that, if I'm going to offend somebody who doesn't understand that meme, they're going to be offended by our podcast, because I want to talk about the really hard things. And if it offends somebody, I'm sorry, but this is what we're going to talk about, and this is who we are. I just don't want to live in fear and be scared of offending one when we can reach. I mean, the fact that somebody across the world has listened to the podcast is just tremendous.
And
insane,
a couple of
because
other
I
countries,
thought,
Turkey and France now too. Belgium, Turkey,
see,
France.
I kept thinking, Kennefic, Houston. We know people who live in Houston,
Hemp
Yeah.
Hill.
Bing
Dallas,
Crosby.
Don't
Yes.
forget Hemp Hill.
and
Yes.
Hemp Hill.
Don't
So
be
you
giving
think,
away our locations, guys. Our
just saying,
hordes
we
of
have
fans will come on knocking at our door.
our circle, but then when you see that one person in Turkey or wherever, that you're saying are listening, I just can't. I would much rather reach broad. I want to reach broad. So if I offend somebody, I'm sorry.
You're such a good
I
person,
was going
because
to say sorry,
my first thought
but
is like, if somebody,
I don't want to be scared of that. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I just don't want to live in that fear that, we said this, or we cursed, or we did this, or we did. Okay. Okay.
it's not even the worst thing I said today. And and I think that you're such a good person too, because my thought is, if you're offended by a meme, you need to man up. Man up. We're Gen X. I am not. No, I'm not doing this. Like, but it doesn't like with anybody who gets offended by something on the internet. Like, welcome to the internet, Mr. Box.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
get over it. And
Yeah.
then I think one of the other bigger things that I think that I've taken from this whole thing, and we talked about this, is that one, that was not a fun day. That was not a fun 36 hours that we were dealing with this drama. However, we are so blessed because we have a mother that we can have these. It wasn't easy. Like even talking about
Yeah.
it now is uncomfortable for me because I just want to shut it down and I don't want to talk about it. I just want
Yeah.
to move on. But being able to talk about it with our mother says a lot about one, what we're trying to achieve, and the fact that we do have a good relationship with our mother. We don't
Yeah.
have these instances very often.
And the thing is it's not perfect. That's
It's
just it. Is
not.
that
No.
it's not perfect. And let's see. I mean,
But
it
so,
rippled
but
3-4 households.
yeah.
You know,
But there are a lot of women who don't
because
have
of our overreaction too. Because of your
Yes.
overreaction, my
Yeah,
overreaction.
I overreacted.
Yeah.
No doubt about
You know.
that. I reacted
Yeah.
passionately with
Yeah.
objections. I
Like,
object.
there's a lot of women who can't
Strenuously
even
object.
Yes.
Oh, you strenuously object. Okay.
Yes.
This is true.
Yes.
Out
But
of just generational, what?
Yeah.
Being stuck generationally, I believe, and not only that, but in just what conservative, whatever. I don't
but
even
there's
know.
a lot
We'll
of
have to-
women who
we're
can't
just going to
even
have to.
the conversations with their mothers. Like
Yeah.
they can't have these conversations because, and unfortunately, so we've had some people that we've invited on the show before this thing, and they've had to decline our invitation. One, because they can't have conversations with their mother or about their mothers or things like that. And that's very sad. That makes me very sad for people because while this
Yeah.
thing was not
It's
fun
sad.
in the moment, we can laugh at it now. We can make fun of ourselves now, but in the moment, we take it very seriously, all of us for different reasons. And we were able to come out of it, 2 days later, we laughed and we launched and we were able to celebrate, launching the podcast. But not everybody can do that. And truth be told, this is a first world problem.
Oh yeah, for sure.
There are women out there who have
It's
who abuse and all these other stuff. And we recognize that. We own the fact that this was the firstiest world problem we've ever had. Like my mother was mean to me about a meme. She criticized my meme work and I don't know how I'm going to recover. We get it. We understand. My meme work was criticized. Gosh. My hashtag research was for nothing because my mother didn't understand it. So we understand that this was, in the scheme of things, it was not that big of a deal, but it goes to the bigger
picture. Communication, and it speaks to how we need to work on it clearly. And the other thing this weekend, I was on a cooking spree on Sunday, and I just was, in the kitchen by myself, cooking, cleaning. And one of the things I thought of is one of the things that I think that I struggle with my own kids is that when they bring me something that I don't think is just right, I overreact and lose my shit. Like just lose it. Overreacting.
I don't believe
I have
this.
for the last couple of years.
I don't even know where you get that.
I know.
Where did you get that?
But for the last couple of years, it has really weighed heavy on me. And I have had to purposefully tell myself, don't overreact. Don't overreact. Don't overreact. Last year when Mariah came downtown, we had lunch and she come and we were in line getting lunch. And she said, hey, I just want you to know, I'm thinking about moving to Denver. And my body wanted to go full-blown panic. Full-blown freak out, panic, and overreact. And I stood there and I said, like this, all clenched up. I said, can we table this for a second? I'm hungry for one. So let's get food and sit down and let me just process what you're saying. Because I have to physically stop and process because my brain immediately starts going, oh my God, you're going to move out of the state. We're never going to talk. I'm never going to see you. You're going to get married and have kids. I'm not even going to go to the wedding. You're going to have grandkids that I'm not going to know. It just went off in left field, which is what I think when I was thinking about it this weekend, I was thinking that's what mom did is she saw this and thought, oh my God, everybody's going to see this. This is going to ruin us. It's going to put us to the ground. We're never going to get anything, It is exactly the same reaction that I have when my kids tell me stuff, which is why they don't tell me stuff. And they'll tell me, that's why I don't tell you, because you can't, because I don't, even though I'm a sane person, there's all these insane thoughts that happen because you're constantly thinking and constantly going, and I'm constantly processing what could happen, what could go wrong, what could just on the daily, that when you throw something else in there, it just, takes off. And usually that comes out of my mouth. Um, so I've been purposely for the last couple of years, and I think that's what felt so bad too, is that it's like I'm trying not to overreact, and this is coming from that same place of I see it in you, I see it in myself. I see the I don't know if it's
It's a chain
like I said, Christian.
reaction.
It's
Yeah,
like
it's a
Christian.
chain
That's what the
reaction.
Christian
Yeah.
panic sets in,
Yes. Yeah.
and it's just you don't. You have to be conscious of it, and I've been
Yeah.
trying to be conscious of it. But like I said, this brought it up, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I really it hit me like a ton of bricks, thinking this is how your children feel when they try to tell you something and you overreact. This is how they feel. You make them feel like this. For your overreaction makes them feel like this. So I had to eat that on Sunday. that was the realization for me, that it was like, oh, you don't like it done to you? How about you not do that to your kids? How about you not overreact with things that are, that maybe I can't handle them, but God can. He's already promised me he's going to take care of these things. And I don't know why I'm worried about it. I don't know why I'm overreacting.
Very
Well,
much
that was a hard pill to swallow on Sunday. Just so you know, I threw the chicken back at myself.
Yeah. Did you?
I lobbed it back.
Well, and I've really purposed in my heart to be very conscious of that with YouTube also. So I really am sorry. I truly am.
And me too.
Me
We're
too.
sorry for overreacting too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for, and like we were talking to like Dorkson when her and I were talking about it, like I guess with this weekend when we went to HEB or something together, we talk about how we all looked at it very differently. We all have our own stuff. And I told us that this is not mom's fault or your fault or my fault. It was just, I said, my instinct is to shut down and to break and just, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to have a conversation. I just want to be over. I just want, because I do this very similar to what y'all overreact. I play it out in my head too. And I play it out 50 steps down the road, and it's all going to end in disaster. We're going to hate each other. This isn't going to work and all this stuff, which yes, it's no reaction, but you play it out like a movie that doesn't end well. But again, I don't want to have a conversation about it. I don't want to chit chat about it. I don't want to I'm just going to move on. We're going to pretend it never happened. We're going to do all this stuff, which I know is not the healthiest, whatever.
No, because the thing is, it festers. It'll
does,
happen again. It's going to happen again. And the thing is that if you hold it all in, we're just going to react bigger next time.
No, I know.
And it will come down. And then it'll be bigger next time. It will come down. But at some point, it's just going to be the massive elephant in the room. And you're just dragging all that same crap with you.
Oh, 100%.
Which is what we
and I play it out in my head every single time. And I know exactly how it's going to go. But that's what I do. And that's how I told y'all the story before about, like when a coworker asked me, like after we resolved it, and she said, if you just come to me next time, I was like, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that. We're probably going to do this again and again, just because I don't want to have the conversation. I don't want the fight. Yeah. I just want to shut it down and move on. And I own that. And I know that that's what I have to work on, is that communication, to be like, I disagree with you.
If you're talking about it, you're not fighting about it. If you're, you fight about it when you don't address it. Yeah. When you just
there's healing. There's healing in the light when you bring it up. Yeah. And you can shed some light on it. Then there's healing there.
Mom, he really wasn't grabbing his crotch. Go look at it again. He wasn't. Bring it into the light. He was grabbing his belt.
We did, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
We watched it again last night. We were sitting on the couch when they were here in town. And I was like, let's look at it one more time together. Like we looked at it again, and I was like, not grabbing his crotch, because he is thrusting his hips. So it's like Elvis. So I'm going to tell you what she said, because thrusting his hips makes you think of like he wants to. And I was like, that's not what. Okay.
I think you're making fun of me now.
I'm trying to get you to say what you said, and you said you weren't gonna, but that's fine. But it's but now I said we can laugh at it now. We can laugh at it. 4 weeks ago, it was not a laughing scenario. It was a whatever the heck it was, in the middle of my Korean barbecue that I was trying to eat.
Well, it was a lesson learned, okay?
It was a lesson learned.
And I did tell Dorcas, did I not tell you, Dorcas? I think this might be an episode for our
Yes.
podcast.
You
Did I
did.
not say that?
You did. Yeah, I
There's
think it's a good
lessons to be
example
learned,
of
and
Yeah.
and
learning to communicate.
doing it better. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And
Just
it's got
learning
to
to
be
communicate.
hard. I would imagine.
Picking-
Sorry, I was going to say, I think it's got to be hard to, because y'all have adult children, to be in an adult, and I use the term loosely, parenting adult children. You know, I mean, stepping back from those times, because I still feel like a kid. Like I feel like a kid with mom all the time. The minute I get with mom, like when we were on the couch last night, my instinct, I want to like curl up in her lap and be her daughter and have her, I just want to
And I want you to.
snoodle with
Yes.
her, you
Yeah.
know, and I still
mean-
hold her hand when we go out in public, and I don't feel like a 45-year-old woman. I want my mom, unless she wants to mother me, and then I don't want to be my mom, kind of thing.
Don't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me what to do, but let me be a little kid when I
But-
need to be, kind of
Let
thing.
me be a toddler.
Exactly. I want you to pat my bottom and rub my hair and let me hold you and call you when I'm having a bad day. And, but it's got to be hard as an adult. Our kids are, my step babies they're little, so they're little, they're kids. They need to be parented. But I would imagine, with your adult children, it's got to be I don't know, maybe a challenge or something to step away. And
It's the single hardest thing I've done.
It is
Because
hard.
raising them was easy. I was
Yeah.
built for little kids. I was meant for little kids. I was not meant for adult children. I did not. I prepared my kids to go out in the world. They all went out, did their thing, got jobs. Nobody's a felon. Like they're doing it. What I failed to prepare myself for was life after kids
letting them
and
go.
what to do.
Yeah, letting them go or letting them grow up and live their life. And
Yeah,
and all. So
it was the hardest.
it was-
Like I said, I think I've said this before. It was the worst 5 years, 6 years of full on depression and stress and whatever. And it's only in the last year or two, maybe, that I feel better and I feel good. And like I said, Cody left in January, and it feels like, okay, they can do this. And you and Dwayne can just live your life. You're fine. You're fine. I'm fine. It's hard. It's hard. And I
It is
I have
hard.
perspective for mom, to be able to and I think that's what hit me Sunday, is that it's like, oh, you don't want to be treated that way. Don't treat people that way.
Yeah.
Don't treat your kids that way. And there's no intent. That's just it. I know there's no intention, just like there's never any intention for me to be hard on my kids. It was not your intention to call and make me feel,
No.
2 years
It
old.
really wasn't.
Yeah.
Because I did
I
the
wasn't
same
trying
thing
to do
Lydia
that.
did. I'm
Yeah.
50. I'm not taking that sucker down.
Just to
You know.
prove a point.
Yeah, just to prove a point.
Like I said, we're going to put money behind it and we're going to blast it to the world. We're going to boost that
I
post.
just had an
So-
objection. I
Yes.
just had an objection.
And you're allowed to. I think that's the point, is that you're allowed to have an
Oh.
objection about it. And now it is like how, when we have these issues, but for me too, which is not a bad thing. But now I said, I'm like, I do look at everything now. It's like, and I say this with love, but I'm like, oh, is this going to offend mom? Like, I hope not. It's just a picture of it's a picture of a piece of
Yeah.
cheese, whatever's
Well,
trending at
we
the moment.
but this made us set ground rules, right? Like we
Yeah.
agreed that we're not going to put anything out that is vulgar,
Yeah.
that it does have certain curse words, that it does, that we're not going to put music out, that cursing or, whatever. We're just going to shy away from, because that's really not who we are, as people and all that.
I mean, I
But I
blast
mean,
the
the two
gangster
dudes
rap in my
dancing, man, that was
car.
pretty
but,
funny.
Yeah. Do
Thank
what?
you.
The two
I
guys
said
dancing
thank
was
you.
pretty funny.
They're
Like,
so funny. They make me so happy.
look.
they're funnier every time I see them.
Yeah. They make me
I'm
happy.
completely agreeing.
Yeah.
I'm completely agreeing.
Who doesn't
And
want to
I'd
just
stop
jam
and-
out with your
Yeah.
bestie, in the middle
Because
of the
that
workday?
boy got rhythm.
Yeah.
That boy has some rhythm that I don't have.
I mean, and if Celine Dion can't do that for you, I mean, what can? Like, I love
I know.
her. She's amazing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
So-
like Celine.
I think those are kind of the lessons for me. Was just a lot more came. It was worth having the argument for me for how things have come out, because it just did flag things that we needed to address. We needed to
True.
decide on as a business, like I told mom, I think you were telling me about dad something, and I said, listen, I'm not going to dad for marketing. Okay. I'm going to go to Lydia for
You
marketing. I'm
did.
not going to
You
dad for
did
marketing.
say that.
If I need,
Not
if I need
asking that.
theological, guidance or something about God, I'll
Yeah.
go to dad. But I'm not, Lydia's going to be in charge of marketing. And that's just it. Like at the bottom line. So
Yeah.
nobody else gets to question that's what she's doing. So it did give us the opportunity to set some ground rules, set some what I think are healthy boundaries, you know. Um, I don't know. So y'all, I guess you'll have to tell me what are some of the things, Lydia, that you think came from it that was good.
I mean, I do think I said that the communication, like
Yeah.
learning to see things from different areas, learning or from different people's perspectives, and setting the expectations and just I don't know. Try for me, like again, because this feels so much like a job, because it is a job, and it's hard to take the it's hard to take criticism. Like it's hard to
Yeah.
take from what I felt was very much criticism. Again, it's like, when clients in my career or whatever try to tell you how to be a marketer, I'm like, you're an accountant. You
Yeah.
don't know how to be a marketer. Why are you trying, like, stay in your lane, boo boo, and let the marketers do their stuff. You handle this, but that's, again, that's something that I've always, because there's always people out in the world who think that they're marketers and they come to you or whatever. And I'm not saying that we can't have our own opinions. It's just one of those, it feels very much like a job. This is very much my job, and it's just constant. I have to, damn man.
Yeah. But I think the
Sorry,
difference
there's
here
been a
then is
gnat
that
in
we
here
also
all,
have the
sorry.
familial relationships. So
Yeah.
it's not that I'm gonna every time, mom says something, it's gonna, or you say something, Lydia, you object to something or whatever, that we're gonna be able to just go business. It's because we still have the relationship we
Yeah.
have to consider. But I think when we approach each other, it should be professional, and how we respond to each other should be considering the familiar roles, if that makes
Mother
sense.
daughter, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Not
if you
not
come to me with a
parenting.
concern about
Okay.
you see this in a
Yes.
meme, I need to come to you as, okay, I see this from your perspective, because like I can't see dad sharing that or you sharing that. I get it now. I get it.
Sure.
Now I get it. I didn't then, but I get it now. Because I need to respond from, business, but supported by family through perspective. That's what Lydia and I have been talking about. We talked about a lot on Saturdays, just seeing things from other people's point of view, which I think is the point of the podcast too, is to see what other people have been through and how they heal through that, because it's not all going to look the same. It's
And
going to be
having that
different.
empathy for those people and having the grace for the people, and for us, and with this example, it's having the grace, having you gain that perspective, and then just for me, like from a business perspective, is picking the battles too. Like
Yeah.
there's, and again, and this is something I talked to mom about, like I have a very, especially when it comes like from a business perspective, I usually, what I take what's called like what I call the CJ Craig approach from the West Wing. And she has this line in there about how, like, I'll agree with you when I agree with what you're saying or when I don't care about what you're saying. But if I disagree with you, I'm going to tell you. And I actually use that line at work a lot. Like, I don't care about this, whatever. Like, I don't have an opinion. And I think that that's one of those things that, again, like even with something like this, there's just some things I don't care about. Like if we're like, I'm not going to get in a fight over polka dots in the background of the logo, because I just don't care. I mean, I would, because that would look terrible, and aesthetically that would be hideous. But there's just some things that we're not gonna, because like, and I'm not
But
gonna
there's
bring up.
things you send me, and I'm like, yeah, great. Like the
Yeah, like
blog
I just
stuff,
don't.
because I
Yeah.
don't have a passion for writing blogs, and both of you are very good at it. When you send me something, I'm like, yep, looks great.
Yeah,
Looks good, because I don't have an opinion about it. I
Yeah.
think you're both really smart. You're gonna write really great things, and it's not. I don't enjoy it.
Yeah. And then even to like the thing, and I don't want to say out loud what it is, but that thing that we had talked about on the website, and like, just so you know, I went and took it down. The thing that we had kind of disagree. Huh?
Oh, okay. Yes, I do know what you're talking about. Go ahead.
I took it down after you had made a comment about how you disagreed with it, and then not that I overruled you or whatever, but I didn't think about it in a way of you not liking it for a reason, if that makes any sense. I was just like,
Yeah.
no, and I can admit that I was like, oh, no, it's fine. But I didn't
Yeah.
take into consideration your opinion on it. But after
Yeah.
you made the comment about how you expressed it and I listened, I really didn't listen. I just thought I
Yeah.
knew what was best. So I
Yeah.
have taken it down since then because you were
Okay. Well, I
right.
understand. But I also told you it's not worth fighting over. I just didn't like it.
Exactly. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't worth fighting over, but I didn't do what I did
Mhm.
because I necessarily knew it was best. I just kind of did it because I thought it was best without taking your stuff into consideration. But since
Yeah.
then, I thought about it and I'm like, oh, you know what? You were right.
Yeah.
So back again, you know, but there are just some things I just don't care about.
Yeah.
I'm just, and it goes back to, I don't have the emotional collateral to care
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like, this is beautiful. It looks great. And, we're going to try things. And when things, like I said, we've already changed like our thumbnails on, you know, all of our stuff because I didn't
Yeah.
like the ones that we did a couple weeks ago. And again, that's, you know, testing it and seeing what works and what doesn't, and not being afraid to change it and try different things and being brave and, you know, whatever.
Yeah, which I think is all kind of the themes that we're going for here.
Yeah. Like
that we're not only
faking
hoping
it
from
till
other
we make
people,
it.
but that we're going to try to do it ourselves.
Yeah.
Is not be a freak and be brave.
Yeah. And
Not be afraid.
Yeah.
Just don't be
not call each
afraid.
other during the workday.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, this don't pay the bills yet.
Yeah.
I got to pay the bills. Girl got a mortgage, and kids and a husband. So this is a after hours thing. I'm not allowed to work on this stuff during the workday.
During the day.
Yeah.
Oh.
But until this can pay the mortgage, that's an after hours kind of thing.
I promise.
So,
I promise.
and we promised to, Mom.
Yeah.
We promised to listen.
I will promise no more blatant hip thrusting memes.
Thank you.
She will
Unless it's just
that.
really, really funny, and then I'll run it by you first.
Hey, you do have me quoting Johnny Depp on there, you know.
It was really funny.
That was funny.
It
though.
is funny.
Yeah.
It is funny. I'm thinking, you got me quoting Johnny Depp. You know,
I mean, who doesn't love
hilarious. I do.
Yes, I do love him.
Yeah. So
funny.
So we've had some pretty good lessons learned from this, I think.
Yes. That we are not perfect, and it's going to be okay.
We're not.
It really is.
And it's pretty,
there's people in the world who have way worse problems than Memegate 2024. Yeah. If we can survive the meme, we can survive anything, ladies. Oh my God.
Do we have a future?
We do.
We shall survive.
Yes. It'll be hard. It'll be hard, but we will persevere.
Persevere. That's the word.
Persevere.
We will persevere.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
God.
We will keep going.
Yes.
We'll move on ahead.
So we're in agreement
good job,
that we'll
girls.
keep going. We'll be brave.
We're not going to cancel the podcast because of this.
We're not going to cancel.
We've got too many things already recorded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So.
And we've divided and conquered now. Dorcas is now editing. I'm not editing and doing everything else. So I feel better about that. Thank y'all for helping me take that on. And I was like, I just can't do it all. Because I would try to. But I did do it last night. I was like, just let me do it, Dorcas. That's fine. I'll do it.
I know. I'm taking way too long. I'm too slow.
Well, because I have the system down, and so I can do it. It took me less than like 15 minutes to get both of those episodes, both of those things downloaded, all the thumbnails done, the episode notes, all that was done in like half an hour. I was finished. I was like, all right, now I got to go do some social media stuff, and it was just easier.
Like you told me the other day. No, just send it to me, Mom. I would rather just post the blog than try to teach you. I don't got time to teach you.
I don't know how to go into the website and post the blog. I'm like, I can't teach you right now. Just send it to me. I'll do it. And I did it in like 4 minutes. I'm like, we're good. Throw a picture in there. I found a picture of Mom.
I'm working on that. It was great.
Like a camp this summer where Mom comes down and we spend 2 or 3 days just
we've never
training.
Oh my
and we need to have a podcast camp is what we need to have.
Yes. Well, what's funny is like, because the reason for that was like Mom could easily learn how to go into the Wix dashboard, but we've never even talked about Wix with her. We've focused on social media.
I don't have the language. I don't even know the language. You said library earlier. I don't know. What? Do I have a library? You
do.
I do. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We'll have to do a whole nother episode on the things Mom doesn't understand.
That's right.
Try to explain to her what a meme was. So she goes, well, what's a meme? A meme? No, a meme. It's a meme. It's fine.
Oh, It's embarrassing.
It's really not.
I'm
It's just
trying.
it's too much. It's just too much that's
That's
happened
what's
too
so
quick.
sad is that it's easier than I think it is. It's
Yeah.
not hard.
You just gotta
It is.
be,
It
is.
you just gotta be brave
Yeah.
enough to fake it till you make it. And like with
Yes.
figuring out this podcasting stuff, we don't know how to do a podcast, and we've said that from the beginning. We have no idea what we're doing, and a lot of it is just getting there. Because, like I said, I work in marketing technology, so my job as the technology side is to get in and figure out these things. Figure out this platform, figure out this and this and this, how to make our lives easier. It's nothing, and trying to figure out how to logistically how to do a podcast. How, like, what you need an RSS feed? Okay, well, where do you get that? Is it free? Do you have to pay for it? Does this come with it? You just kind of get in there and figure it out. And I don't love things that I can't pick up really, really easily. So there were some moments of frustration when things weren't working as I thought they should have in the beginning. But sometimes you gotta jump in the deep end and figure it out, because again, my theory is this is 2024. They can find water molecules on Mars with a telescope and some radars. If we do something wrong,
yeah.
we can fix it.
Yeah.
Like if we post something and there's a misspelling, we misspell our name of our podcast, we can fix it really quickly. So you just put it out there, and if it's not perfect. But I'm also the first to admit that when we put something out, and I told this to Dorcas the other day, there's this kind of marketing adage that the minute something is deployed, email sent, gone to print, whatever it is, you never look at it again, because then you're inevitably going to find a misprint or a misspelling. And so she can listen to them over and over and over again because she wants to do better at them. I don't. The minute it's launched, I never think about it again. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to think about it because I'm going to find something wrong and it's going to irritate me, because I've also got to move on to the next thing and start planning out the next week's social media and the next week's strategy or whatever. And I'm like, I never want to look at it again, ever, because you're going to find something wrong with it. So
I just want to do things better.
Yeah.
And I have to look back and see where I can do things better. Right? Dorcas?
Yeah, but
We're
I think
perfectionists.
that's
You and
where
I
I think
are
that's the
perfectionists.
difference
Because
to
I
where
can
we
hear it.
are
Yes, we are.
than her, because that's what you said the other day, Lydia. You said something about I don't want to listen to it because something I just want to move on. And I said, well, I want to listen to it because I want to know what we did wrong. Because I think you said you don't want to know what we did wrong. You just want to move on to the next one.
Well, it's that
something like
marketing
that.
thing, like, because there's
Yeah.
nothing you can
You can
do about it. Like I
Yeah.
said, once that direct mail piece or that email is sent, you can't
Yeah.
unsend it. Like, and
Yeah.
so, like I said, as a marketer, that you just never look at it again.
Yeah.
You move on to the next thing and you
Yeah.
correct it for the next time. But
Yeah.
this is different than that because,
Yeah.
and so that's where y'all come in. Y'all listen
But I
to
think
it.
for me, it's that I dwell in stuff to fix it.
Yeah.
Because it's just naturally a fixer and naturally a, whatever.
If you don't go back and look, then you don't know you did something wrong.
But that's why we have
you did something, or there's something you can do
That's why she
better.
has that.
Well, here's the thing. As a marketer,
Yeah, there you go.
that's where your clients come in, because there's always that one client or that one person who's like, you misspelled your name. There was too many spaces, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I always rely on, those people to tell me things, and then you move on from there. But that's what I have you guys for. Like, and I'm sure if we mess up really royally, somebody who doesn't have a life will tell us. I'm waiting for that. I'm not inviting that, by the way.
We already had one of those.
Which one?
One of those. Remember, somebody commented on something, and
yeah,
like,
and I told her, I was like,
we're like, we know this sounds bad. We know we're working on it.
Gosh,
We got it.
We're figuring it out as we go. I'm not Wonder yet. I want to be, but I'm not Wonder yet. And if you're Wondery, we love you. I'm just saying. We're not there yet.
So,
and Mom, I'll explain to you what Wondery is on another day. We'll talk about it later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well,
so
I think that
that's
we
a good place to
are going to survive.
Yes.
I think that's the point, is we will survive and we will move on. And we won't, we will
and
not
I will
go
learn
it.
Yeah. Mom's going to learn, and we will persevere.
Learn.
Yeah.
And we're not going to
look
do all
at
the
each
things wrong that we did wrong
perspective.
this last 2 weeks, or 3 weeks ago. So we're going to do better.
Yeah.
So
we're not going to let our car run out of gas. We're not going to hang up on our mothers.
Listen, I can't tell you how hard it was for me to call my husband and tell him, because that's his biggest pet peeve, is me always being low on gas. That is just his thing with me. And my call to him was, babe, don't be mad. Don't be mad. I need you to not yell at me. And I just need you to know that I ran out of gas. But it's not my fault. It's mom's fault.
Yeah, that makes me feel sad.
So I need you to
That
drive
makes me feel
45
bad.
minutes to come and get me and bring me gas. And he did.
Where were you
So he didn't
at
yell
on
at me.
90? You said you were close
At
to
Crosby. I was
You
at the
couldn't-
hill before Crosby.
Look,
No, I couldn't.
that,
I died on the hill.
look, that was not Mom's fault. That was Melissa's fault, and you can tell her I said so. Okay, you and Melissa's always in this together. No, no, no. I'm not gonna take that one. There's no grace for that one. No,
It probably wasn't.
Tell her. No.
I was, but he did come and get me, and it was not.
Yes. Oh, thank
I
He did not
goodness.
yell at me. He did not yell at me. He didn't say much, but he did not yell.
That's amazing.
Oh, it's great. So
Well, that probably.
okay.
I can't
Probably-
believe you saved it. I can't believe you saved it till this episode.
And then Melissa asked me if I told you, and I said no. I ain't told her yet. I'm gonna tell her when we're recording.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Nice
like
for you.
that's like us waiting to tell Daddy when we were in the restaurant about you being pregnant.
Being pregnant.
That was just
We're going for the shock value.
it worked then. It worked now.
Worked
And
again.
a public forum,
Yeah,
so you
worked
can't,
again.
yep. Throw
So
fit.
she's not going to yell at me and get mad at me and curse on being recorded. So
Yeah.
No, I won't.
All right. Well, that's probably a good place to wrap this lovely special edition of The Mother You Know, The Woman You Don't. To those of you listening, thank you so much for tuning in for another episode. I hope that you... Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Is there anything else y'all want to say before we wrap it up?
we're good.
No, I
I
think
think
we're
we're
good.
We've
Okay,
solved
sorry.
the world's problems.
We did.
Yep.
We did. We conquered our first world issues. And for those of you listening, thank you so much for tuning in again to this special episode. We hope that you learned something. And please be sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcast. Visit us on social media. Go and help us grow our TikTok account for more than 65 people. That would be amazing. Like, share, do all that stuff. And like I said, be sure to reach out to us. And we will be back with another episode next Thursday. We'll see you later.
Good night. Bye.